We have some things to talk about.
We do.
How
I
are you doing?
I am I've been better.
You took the day off.
I took the day off. I am fresh off of my 20th high school reunion. And
Right.
the joke is now, like, tell me it's your 20th high school reunion without telling me it's your 20th high
I
school
feel
reunion.
old yet?
Yeah, I danced a little too hard and I was doing some nice lateral jumps and I stuck the landing and my feet stayed, but my body kept twisting and I
Oh
tore
no.
my meniscus.
Welcome to Friends on Purpose
Where two friends talk about life, love.
and Finding Purpose. So wait. Did they have to like stretcher you off the dance floor or
Uh, Someone had to assist me off the day. I was on the,
oh
I like
yeah.
I was like crumpled. It was like
Oh my
9 out of
God.
10 pain in that moment. I was like, oh no, they're gonna have to take me out of here in an ambulance. And then the like shock wore
Right.
off and someone helped me up and like they kind of carried me over to the chairs and it was like I got some ice on it and then someone pulled up a golf cart and drove me to my car. It's my left leg, so I was able to like drive to my
Oh, okay.
accommodations because I was stone cold sober. Like this wasn't like, oh my God, that's a loosey goosey. And to really, the cherry on top is that just before we came on to podcast, I was having a quick snack. I was eating an apple and I bit my lip twice.
Oh
You
no.
know, when you like bite your
Just
lip or your
totally.
cheek
And then you
and
bite it
then
again
you bite
because
it
it's
again, it's swollen
yeah.
and you're just like, it's like, dang it. What a design
It's like
flaw.
insult to injury, yeah.
Truly. So that's how I'm
Uh
doing.
I'm sorry.
Mm.
So what's recovery time look like for you?
Yeah, like all told, torn meniscus is no big deal compared to like
Okay.
ACL or any like MCL,
Right.
PCL, LCLs,
Right,
like not
right,
all
right.
of those other ligaments. This is like
Uh-huh.
there's like two C's of cartilage between your like tibia and your fibia. Is that right?
Yeah.
Between your like
Yeah.
thigh bone and your leg bone. I don't
Your
know.
femur?
Femur, that's the one. And so when you tear a little bit there and there's like disruption in there, it just means that there's like some grinding that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But like it can be okay without surgery or whatever. So I don't know
Okay,
yet. I
good.
have to go
Good.
get an MRI.
Yeah.
And just
Well,
probably do like PT and
yeah.
just take it
Yeah, but
easy.
right before the summer and all that,
I
it
know. But
sucks.
I it's like not to sound too Pollyanna-ish, but it's like I have the summers off. If the summer is about like PT and recovery, like what a blessing. Like I'll be okay. Um
That's a
it
good
just
attitude.
yeah, just like it was scary for a second there. You're just like,
Yeah,
wow,
no. Yeah.
frailty.
Yeah. So are you going to be out of work for much longer or
No, I think I'll go back tomorrow.
be
I
able to
really
get around?
honestly I just wanted to like go. I just had to like sit at the walk-in clinic and let like get like then go
Yeah.
get referred to the osteo and like it was just like a couple hours of waiting around. So just
Yeah, I
didn't
got
want
you.
to rush it.
Well,
You know.
good. I'm glad
Yeah.
you were able to get in so quick.
Me too. Again, yeah, everything is like okay, and also I have like healthcare. I have
Yeah,
insurance.
that's
Like
nice
and
too.
so it was like okay, $130 later and like
Right.
like so everything is okay.
Yeah.
Just a bummer.
I will say that's a perfect lead into
It
what
couldn't have
we're
been better.
wanting to talk about today. We want to
Yeah.
talk about aging, getting older.
Get, getting
Is it
older.
is it great or is it not?
I do have an improv background, and so I'll just say I think it's a yes and. I
Yeah,
think
I
it's a
would
yes
agree. I
and.
would agree.
Uh, you know, I have always felt like sensitive to what I would like say is my parents' generation or my like just people older than me being like, "Oh, you're never going to be as beautiful as you were the day,
Yeah.
today," or like, "Oh, it's only downhill from here." I'm like, I don't know about that,
Yeah.
but My grandma always did say that getting old is not for the faint of heart, and she did have open heart surgery. So I feel like there is something, to
Some
be said
wisdom
to both
there.
sides. Yeah, I do. I do. What do you think?
Yeah. Um, I like being older. I like all of the privileges that come with it, though, there is the drawback of just easily hurting yourself or, I woke up with back pain this morning,
Yeah.
and that's become a normal thing just to have random lower back pain. And I don't
Mm.
know why.
It's because you have a
I
desk
drove
job.
a lot. Well, yeah, but I don't have back pain on the regular, like I just
Yeah.
woke up and like kind of, like
Yeah.
what's that? Why does that hurt all of a sudden,
You sneezed wrong, and you're like,
Yeah.
ah.
Yeah, basically. Basically. So that was me this morning.
Yeah, I
Uh
mean, like, are there those moments where I have like felt really aware of the fact that, like, I don't know, just like 15 years ago, it was no problem. 10 years ago, it was no problem for me to just like camp with like no, I mean, just like
yeah.
sleeping on the ground. And now
Uh-huh.
I'm like, how do we go camping if I need to bring a full bed? How does that work?
Yeah.
I find myself being much more aware of feeling well. Like when I
Yeah.
wake up and I feel good, I'm like, heck yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm like, well, so I was staying, I was in Massachusetts for this reunion, and I was staying with some friends, and I couldn't have scripted it better. My knee is hurting after this
Mhm.
stupid thing, and they're like, "Oh, we're so sorry." They gave me this ice pack. We're drinking coffee, and they're both standing in the corner comparing their sleep scores on their like phones. They have like little rings or
I didn't
whatever that
realize
like.
that's oh
Oh
yeah,
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 like
yeah.
I like tracks your like sleep vitals, and they were like, "Oh, nice, you got like above a 90." But, like my friend was like, "Oh, I only got an 85, but I like woke up for an hour. I'll get better next night." I'm like, I love that we're optimizing our sleep, like because Eric,
It's weird how much of a difference a good night's
it
sleep makes these
it
days.
makes a big difference, and
Yeah.
I don't know if you want me to or not, but I do have some facts I'd like to share
Yeah.
about aging.
Please do. We need to call this a segment.
Yeah,
You were
it's
just kidding. Who was it? A friend of mine. It was Sarah. She was singing your praises because you're bringing the science, and she's like, "Thank God we have
we're
Elaine
grounding it.
to balance Eric's bullshit off with real facts."
Well, you can tell Sarah that it's the only contribution that I made to the operations here. So
Yeah,
you're
so we got to
welcome.
call it like Dr. Elaine's Science Corner or something.
Yeah. Yep.
We'll
Doctor.
figure. We'll come up with a
Yeah. Dr. Harvey's harrowing facts.
yeah.
So I kind of was framing this in my mind as like aging, facts about aging. But what I
Mhm.
really had a like inkling about is that the science around aging and like what we know about aging has really changed a lot in the past 50 years. So the time marker that we're kind of using is like, what did we think we knew in the 70s? What do we know now? Like, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
where does the science back that up? So the kind of first category is like our biology, our actual everything inside of us is much more plastic or like malleable than we thought. So now our like the study of epigenetics, so like what do our genes and like our genetic code, when you study that, what does it tell us? Like we can now measure your biological age rather than your calendar age. So we
That's
can look at you and be like, okay, you're 42, but your
mhm.
genes based on lifestyle and genetic inheritance and whatever, you're actually
You
looking
can
more
see
like
it though. Like our parents, when they were our age, looked so much older.
that's style, Eric. That's not
No,
biology.
it's not. It's not. I think it has a lot to do with like smoking.
Oh,
I
sure.
think and other factors like that.
Yeah.
Certainly this style,
Yeah.
but I think just Like,
Well, and there's the fact that, like, of course, even since the 70s, in the last 50 years now, COVID did put some noise into this data, but like, every decade since the 70s, we've also been living longer. So if you think about
right.
what, like, we understood as aging, even like
Aren't the
100
Golden
years
Girls like
ago,
in their 40s, 40s and early
I think
50s?
50s. I think they were in like, yeah, they were in like
They
a
look,
50 plus community. Yeah, they
yeah,
look like they're like 80.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
One of them is.
Sophia,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the eldest was in her
You're
80s.
right.
Anyway, so yeah, so epigenetics, like we can now we understand that your chronological age isn't just the only thing going on. There's your biological age, and sometimes I could be 38, but my biological age could be 50. I could be
Mm.
38, and my biological, excuse me, age could be more like 22.
And
It's
that's
really variable.
measurable? I
Yes.
want to know my biological age.
Yeah, I don't know if you do. So there are these
Would it be
things.
older than my natural
Yeah,
age?
I think I think so. I think after 5 kids and a desk job for the past 25 years, the odds are not good for you.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
And I say that about myself as well. I went through premature menopause when I was 23. So like
Yeah.
I
Wow.
think a lot about like how my body's aging in a different way
Uh-huh.
than like, whatever. Anyway,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
so there's sensient cells, which are the pop science name for those are zombie cells, which are like biologists identify them as a major driver of what ages, like what we think of as aging. And drugs now can, like, we have a branch of pharmaceuticals called senolytics that clear out these zombie cells, and these drugs are in trial right now, and they essentially are like, once we get rid of those zombie cells, you slow down your aging. So if the drug attacks that cell, these are like older, less functioning cells. We clear them out. It makes way for your younger, more vibrant cells to.
So is that just in like appearance, or is that in like health and strength as well?
Everything, like your like
Wow.
arterial elasticity, your like just
So why do
like
they
your
call them zombie
overall,
cells? Like undead?
because the zombie cells are like
Oh, okay.
they're just like
Like
crawling
old,
along.
old,
Yeah,
old.
they're
Yeah.
old.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So there are I think I'm pronouncing this right. They're telomeres, I think is what they're called. So those are the caps of a chromosome that actually like shorten as you get older. And we understand that as the cap of your chromosome gets shorter, it isn't as effective. And we understand now, when we didn't in the 70s and 80s, that lifestyle, movement, regular sleep, like nutrition, can impact that shortening, and you want to avoid the shortening. So in order to
Hmm.
like there's like this research going on around like elongating or reversing or stopping the shortening of those. So there's been a lot of research in the last 50 years about this. That was all just our like biology. This is more specific to your brain. So your
Hmm.
brain, there's neurogenesis, this idea about neurogenesis. The adult brain generates new neurons. We didn't know 50 years ago, we were just like, you're born with what you have, and that's it. But now we know that it happens we don't know why necessarily, but we know that there's some regions of your brain in the adult brain that can regenerate or add new neurons. And they're really looking into that because of Alzheimer's. So, like in the
Brain disease.
70s,
Yeah.
brain disease, we didn't really call it even Alzheimer's. Like people, there were so many undiagnosed people who they're just like, oh, they're
Right.
senile,
Senile.
and yeah. So we now also know, and I'm telling you something you know a lot more about, but like that the human body, before decades before the onset of Alzheimer's, symptoms present, like your disorientation or your mood swings, we can actually see the plaques and the tau tangles accumulating decades
Hmm.
prior. And
Hmm.
that's like
Yeah.
people are like, whoa. And then lastly, the FDA, so it's 50 years ago, this was not at all the case, but now the FDA considers aging a disease. And that is really important because diseases, we search for cures. We put money behind stopping them or slowing them. So because we have finally entered into and have been existing in this elongated timeline where we actually have like, there used to be like, you were young and then you were old. Now we talk about it in like a third age where there's like 60 plus. That's another like, could be like 20, 25
Mm-hmm.
years, 30 years of your life. That's a whole third of your life that
Right.
our forebearers were not living to. And
Right.
so
Yeah.
this third age, we're trying to understand how we can smooth out that decline so it isn't as like for some folks usually class based but also genetics, that's like the year end of life is really awful. So the FDA is studying into it, studying that. And then 50 years ago we didn't understand how important loneliness was as a social aspect of your aging, and that we know that loneliness is now widely recognized based on science that it's comparable to smoking around 15 cigarettes a day for your mortality. So we're understanding also the social construct of our societies as it
This is
relates to
wild.
age.
What you're
I
saying
know.
is all very.
I know. So all of this is to say, well, I guess lastly, one thing I found really, really wild is that now many countries now have more citizens over 65 than under 15.
Mm-hmm.
So, the boomers are aging. There's a big boomer generation, and this is historically unprecedented. Lastly, the things that have stayed the same in the last 50 years is the strong emphasis on you got to exercise, you got to move your body, you got to get sleep, you shouldn't smoke, and like drink your water. Those
Mm-hmm.
things are all like still gold standard of how you live a good life. But there's these interesting threads.
So when you're talking about aging and treating
Yeah.
it like a disease,
Yeah.
we're not talking about like preventing death
Well, some
intentionally.
people are.
Right. Okay.
Some people are.
But like,
The FDA is
it's more
treating.
like live the longest, healthiest life. And, when it comes your time, you're not, some weak, old, pruny looking raisin of a person.
Right.
You're still,
Kind of like,
it's for other reasons, like maybe, I don't know what, heart
yeah,
attack, or is that,
yeah, heart
is that
attack, brain health.
right?
But so think about, did you ever see the like
Like it's hard for
research
me to separate aging from
dying?
other factors, like, you know what I mean? So like, where's the line?
Well, I think you can
Like to
look
me, heart
at.
attack is a sign of aging.
No, I think probably more than age, people would say heart attack is more about lifestyle, right? Because you can be 90 and not have a heart attack. That's not a given. It's more
Okay.
like there's a lot of plaque in your arteries,
Okay.
and that's due
So
to
when we're talking about
inactivity.
aging, we're not necessarily talking about death.
Well, I
Right?
think, yeah, I think the FDA is probably not in the business right now of immortality. However, there are like the same billionaires that are going to space
Yeah. Yeah.
are studying
Have these crazy ideas of, yeah,
crazy ideas
yeah,
about
yeah.
immortality and like cryogenics and
Right.
like all sorts of stuff. So I would say on the whole we're not talking about living forever, but we are
Mhm.
talking about like, is there a future where we have addressed all of, like, we've pulled as many levers as we can and the human race is now consistently and healthfully living to 130,
Right. Right.
like living far beyond
Yeah.
our
That's nuts.
current. Yeah, it is really
Even to
nuts.
110,
Yeah, well, so and then there's the research into the blue zones, right? So these are like identifiable geographic and cultural hotspots in the world where consistently the average population lives like 15 to 20 years longer than like we do. And it's very, very interesting because like, for example, one of the blue zones is like smack dab in the middle of the country, but it's like a religious group that has very strict cultural
Dietary.
norms,
Yeah.
dietary exercise, like
Right.
what they, how they live in community. But then it's like Japan, there's like a little island in Japan and there's like another one in,
Hmm.
wherever. So the idea is that like we can see that there are direct correlations between how you live and how well you age. But now there's this added layer of like, okay, so if we could medically clear these zombie cells, you're now all of a sudden like, okay, we can demonstrate that you can have another 8 years of life before, it just leads to, it makes you wonder.
Yeah. That's interesting.
It's very interesting because aging and this whole conversation when I was like researching it really just makes me think a lot about how will you know that you have like lived well.
Right.
And I'm not sure that I feel like it has to do with what age I am when I die or even how
Hmm.
well I age.
Yeah.
Because to me it's probably more related to the relationship and the like things I do in this life, whether it's 38 years or 88 years. But I wonder if we're focusing on the wrong
Yeah.
thing. And I think it gets at a question around like quality of life.
Hmm.
And so like could the assumption in wanting to reverse aging or slow aging assumes that you're living a life on Earth that you would want to add another 30 years on. And so it's no
Right.
wonder that there's like billionaires
I
who are
can
like,
think
let's go.
I don't want to
Nah,
live that old.
I'm good. Yeah, like no, I'm good keeping three jobs and like
Right.
like missing
But if
mortgage
the quality
payments.
of life is that, you feel 60 when you're 100,
Yep. Interesting.
yeah, I don't know.
Very
I mean,
interesting. So
very
that was my
interesting.
science dive. You're
That's
welcome,
cool.
Sarah. Please write with questions. Don't ask Eric. He has no idea.
I have no idea, nor will I try.
And we did kind of like talk about the body aging and mind aging, but I think there's something there for us to talk about too, which is like,
Yeah, absolutely.
okay, so
I mean, I don't feel 41, you know, like
yeah,
inside I feel, I don't know, 30.
what does that mean to you? What does it mean you feel 30?
It means that I feel like I can do things that I can't, physically, or
Yeah.
I still think in certain ways, like, like jumping off the porch, you know, which is only 2 feet down.
I know.
So it's like in me to where it's just like, yeah, thunk, and then you're like, oh no, I shouldn't have done that. It was funny because it was a little bit alarming when I was with my brother. We got into a little scuffle because we were just fooling around.
You were
It's
wrestling.
ridiculous
That
already because we're
that your
two
mental
grown men
age. Yeah.
in their 40s, right? Acting like
Yeah.
teenagers.
Yep.
But we probably had a little too much to drink. That probably contributed to it. But
Yep. That also
we got
contributes
into
to
it,
your
and
aging.
there was a moment where I was like, I could do something, but then it
Like
was
hurt
like,
yourself.
no, like I could pick Graham up and throw him on the
No.
couch,
No, your
something like that.
adrenaline took hold.
Right. Yeah. And it wasn't even adrenaline. It was like the reaction you get when, when
When
somebody
you're
punches you,
wrestling
you're
with
like,
your brother. Yeah, I don't know about that. We covered this. I cannot
you have
relate.
no, you have
Yeah.
no, yeah. But I had to make that conscious decision to just end it because it's like
Yeah.
one of us is going to get hurt,
Yep.
like an old man would, not like a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, you
as
don't
ridiculous as that
bounce
sounds,
back
it's
the
no,
same way.
no. And also like, I don't want to get hurt. That's a
Yeah.
mentality that is old, like
Sure.
that's a reasonable, like a good thing to have in me. But like, even when, even just, I mean, you were saying it the other day, like you didn't go to Portland because you hurt yourself
I hurt
walking.
my I like yeah, like my I think this was a precursor to my knee. I like
Yeah.
hyperextended my knee while we were
Yeah.
walking the dogs and I was like,
Right.
I can't possibly make an hour and a half drive right now. I need to rest.
And so that's the thing. Like I'm not
Yeah.
pushing myself in ways that I would like to,
Yeah.
because I'm fearful of hurting myself.
I
And
think about it with skiing all the time.
yeah,
I grew up skiing. I feel incredibly competent and safe, and I
yeah,
know my own limits. But over the past few years, like I have these memories of watching when we were little bombers, like, 9 to
yeah.
15-year-olds just like scraping down the mountain. And my parents were like, we're gonna hang back.
Mm.
And I remember my cousin and I saying, we're like, oh, we're never gonna slow down. Like, we love skiing so much. And
But
like,
that's your
even,
brain. Oops.
right,
That
right,
that's your brain talking,
totally. And
And just like
now
you're dancing, your body
I was having a
is
great
just
time.
gonna give out.
It just, yeah, it did. And I like now but I can like, I mean, I think that was kind of a little bit of a fluke because I wasn't doing anything particularly crazy, but I can feel myself
Right.
when I'm skiing, or like the like
But
cliffs
you
I
hit
used
the
to jump
wrong
off.
bump, and
Oh, you
and
break
your
your
toes.
back, you
Right.
know? Like I know,
So I think
and
a lot about that. Like Owen was just telling me, he says hi, by the way.
oh, hey buddy.
He was telling me he like pulled a muscle in his back working out at the gym. I'm like, frick.
I feel like you get to like closer to 50 and people know to be cautious, but I think we're in the danger zone right now because our
Oh,
mental
yeah.
age is like 30, but
Yeah.
our biological age is a little older, and we're like not used we're driving a new machine and we're not used
Yeah.
to how
Yeah.
it
Exactly.
operates.
Right. Should we play trivia?
Our favorite game.
Trivia.
Our favorite friendship trivia game.
Aging edition.
Yeah. Let's just go every other.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
You
Hey
first.
Eric, what's your earliest I'm getting old moment?
In high school, I took Taekwondo, um, and I was pretty good at it. And I could do what's called an aerial, which is basically a no-handed cartwheel.
Whoa.
Yeah. I tried doing that when I was like 30. I couldn't do it anymore.
Did you hurt
And it was
yourself?
like, it was, I think I pulled a muscle, but what got me was the fact that like my mind was not connecting to my body in the way that I remembered I could. So
Yeah.
I think that was the kind of the defining moment of like, I am never going to do anything that I used to do because I don't want to hurt myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
That's
think I
funny.
did it in front of my niece, Connie. I think she
She
was
was
like,
like,
I heard you can do a no-handed cartwheel. I was like, I sure can. And then I did.
yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm
Oh.
not going to do that ever again.
You're like, I sure can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What's your old person hobby going to be?
Complaining about the kid. No. I already do. I feel like it's like gardening.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get
Yeah.
really just deep because I'm already doing it, but I can
Yeah.
tell that
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's gardening.
Yeah.
What age, you already kind of answered this, but what age do you feel like you are?
I feel like mentally, yes, I'm like my early 30s.
Yeah.
Like, I feel mature enough to where I'm not making dumb decisions, but
Right.
still young enough to where I feel like I'm stronger than I actually am. But yeah.
Yep.
What's your I've become my parents moment?
Oh, I think it's probably like preferring the like 6 o'clock reservation at dinner. I'm like, it's on. Trust me, it's the perfect
5:30 is even
time.
better.
Yeah, like I'm like, oh, you get home in time to watch, Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the early dinner reservation.
I bought tickets to Moulin Rouge for me and Emily.
Yeah.
And the show starts at 8. I'm just like, oh,
I mean that
it's gonna
it's
be
just like,
great.
what do
But like,
you? It's hard for me. Yeah,
yeah,
it's hard to
yeah,
do
I
late
agree.
stuff.
I agree.
Would you rather have a bad back or bad hearing?
Um, I mean, bad hearing means I could just get hearing aids.
Yeah, I don't want a
So
bad back. I don't want to. I
yeah,
had one for
yeah,
a bit. I don't. It's
yeah.
it's definitely hearing for me.
Also, I learned this through Emily. If you do have bad hearing, get hearing aids because
Yeah,
I think
and
that it's one of the few things that is directly related to Alzheimer's. And it's
interesting.
yeah, if
Like
you
cognitive
go,
decline.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
not
Okay,
being able
get
to
them.
hear like you used to can increase the
Because you kind of
decline
like
of your
check
brain.
out, or
I don't know
yeah. I
exactly.
gotta Sarah do some reading on that for us.
Yeah, Emily, would you come
I'm
on
like,
here, please?
could you cite that
We
for
don't have
us?
her queued up yet.
Yeah.
Everyone has Google.
Interesting.
Look it up.
Yeah. We're just saying things. We don't know what they
Yeah,
are.
but
I
that's
love that.
trivia for you.
Wow. That is just so trivia. So trivia. Okay, well that concludes Trivia Aging Edition.
Trivia aging edition. Brought to you by Graham.
Graham, the oldest dude we know.
I think I've stated previously, like, I think a lot about death, and I don't know
I
why.
know.
Like,
Yeah.
I, and it's not like out of caution, it's more like out of
It's like curiosity or like
curiosity, but
reverence.
also like wanting to, like, this is probably one of the few areas of my life where I am making some conscious changes or some deliberate changes because I know I'm not going to live forever, and that feels like it's in front of me, And I think maybe some of it has to do with my mom. She suffered a series of head injuries throughout her life that I I believe the theory is that that's led to her early onset Alzheimer's. She's in her early 60s, and she's in late stages of Alzheimer's, and that's pretty
Yeah.
young for that kind of illness.
Yeah.
And so seeing her decline so rapidly, I think is, I don't know, maybe caused me to think more about the brevity of life,
Yeah.
and
That there
I
is
don't
an
know.
end
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's
And
not guaranteed you're getting to 80.
no, right,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
it's not necessarily an age thing, except that I think maybe I'm thinking about that because I am older now. I
Yeah.
think as young people we don't really think about who we will be when we're old.
I was just doing some like weird math on something at work, and it was like, I think it was like, how many hours do we live or something?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Have you seen those calendars?
yes,
They freak me
that's
out.
well, that is really rooted in like the like Roman like memento
Like the
mori.
daily calendars.
Yes, that's like you only have this many days left or this many weeks left. Well, so it's like we
And
live
this is the amount that you're sleeping, and this
right,
is
right, and then
and
take
people
away
will
this that
track
you're
your
at work.
emotions. Yeah.
Right, right.
They'll put an emoji on for the general feeling they had for the day, and they can see how many days they were happy, how many days they were sad, and it was just like,
Yeah,
that's not a lot of
yeah,
time.
yeah. I know. It's we live less than. I mean, it's like crazy to think we live less than 1,000,000 hours.
Yeah.
We live 770. Like the average person is living like 775,000 hours. So I'm
Right.
sleeping a lot of that time, and then you're like, that puts into perspective, for me at least. Like, well, what am like you're telling me that I just spent an hour scrolling on reels?
Right.
No
and
way.
and it causes me to think, like, I guess my default is that I don't go to my health. I go to, like, what kind of person do I want to be?
Right.
If I'm
Well, because you are
given
what
this
you do.
finite amount of time, whether it's 40 years, 60 years, 80 years, 100 years, it's like,
Yep.
and this goes back to the quality of life, and kind of what you were getting at earlier is like, like, how meaningful do I want
Yeah.
this life to be?
Right.
And it's like, I feel really great about my life, and
Me
it's
too.
it's been it's been a really wacky life,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Like
really,
this is
really,
coming from the
it's been a
cult
really
guy.
small life. Honestly,
Yeah.
I haven't like gone places and like done big things, but like what I'm finding to be the most meaningful things are the relationships I have.
Yeah.
And and if I can find more of those, great. But like what I have now, I feel really great about. And
Yeah.
so what my goals are, the things that I do work towards, is making those the most meaningful as possible. And I do that in various ways, you know. But
Well, I don't think,
like
Eric, it's like I don't think it's a coincidence that like you have big family, right? You like you've got 5 kids, you've got multiple brothers and sisters, you're close with your,
yeah,
spouse's family, whatever, and like you pay a lot of attention to those. So like you have a richness and a fabric of like community and familiar relation and
yeah.
friend relation that is really, 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 really strong. So like it's not a small life because
But you know what I'm saying?
well, but that
It's
assumes
not.
that like
You know, yeah.
frankly like
You're right. You're right.
like material stuff makes it a big
Hmm.
life. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Like people who are striving after material wellness, I mean material whatever, like greatness, probably live in, if they don't have a great relationship with their kids or their
Right.
family or whatever, it's like,
Right.
what do you have?
Yeah.
It's the whole
It
point.
reminds me, the Pixar movie Up.
Yeah.
The classic montage in the beginning where
Yes.
it's
The
like just this
saddest
beautiful,
6 minutes
saddest,
of cinema ever.
yeah, yeah, where you see this young couple, and it's so relatable too
Yeah.
because I knew Emily when I was 8. You
Mm.
know, that's when we first met. And you have these two people who meet young, who get married, who go through happiness and heartache. You see that they can't have a baby, but they're
Yeah.
able to find happiness elsewhere, and they have their little chairs, and you see their personality, and
Yeah.
you go through this whole, like, I don't know, 5-minute montage of someone's life,
Yeah.
and we're all affected by how wonderful that was to watch,
Yeah. Totally.
and heart-wrenching,
Hmm.
um and that's the kind of life I want to live, and the only other depiction of that, or I guess similar depiction of that, is the other Pixar movie, Coco.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry just thinking about it.
Oh.
Is he sings a song, "Remember Me,"
Yeah.
to his great grandmother,
Yeah.
who has dementia,
Yeah.
and he sings this. I suppose it's a lullaby at that point in the film,
Yeah.
and she remembers because
Mm.
it's a song her dad used to sing to her,
Yeah.
and it hits close to home because my mom,
Of course it does.
doesn't remember me, but
Yeah.
I did see her. I did see her last week, and I was expressing this to my dad, like the visits are kind of about me now, because she
Yeah.
doesn't remember me. And it's like,
Right.
I really want to make the most of the relationship that's left there.
Yeah.
And there are these little spark moments with her. Like
Mm.
we went to go pick her up. She didn't remember me. That
Hmm.
wasn't a surprise.
Hmm.
But as we're exiting, she lives in an assisted living home,
Yeah.
and she has someone who she shares a suite with,
Hmm.
and she hugs her. Goodbye, I love you. She can't remember her mate's name.
Yeah.
Then we walk out of the room, and there's a nurse there. Oh, I'm leaving, so I'll see you later. Bye, and gives her a hug. I love you,
Mm.
and you can see the staff just love her for it, and she does
Yeah.
that to every person on the way out of the
Oh,
building, and it's just like,
that's
my
unbelievable.
mom is mentally, she's gone,
Yeah.
for the mom that I knew. And what's left there, what really is touching to me is what is left is her true core, like she was always that way, and it's
Hmm.
still coming out.
Yeah.
And so later on in the visit, she just looks at me. She's like, "Oh," and her eyes light up. "I know you." And I'm like, yeah. She's like, who are you? You know?
Oh, yeah.
And so I can just go up, I can give her a hug and I can
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I'm your son, Eric." She's like, "Oh," and
Yeah.
and she'll accept the hug. Whereas
It's,
there'll be times where I'll give her a little kiss on the forehead and she'll be like who
yeah, like
who
who are
who are
you?
you? Why are you kissing
Yeah.
me? You know?
Are
And so
those
it,
are those moments like how do those are those described as like I know we say like lucidity or whatever, but like what's happening in those moments when she does like have a moment of recognition?
I I don't know. I mean, I don't know that it's I don't know that you can explain it so much as
Yeah.
just like the
When it's
the the
there.
brain is deteriorating, like
Mm-hmm.
literally, and so like things come and go.
Mm-hmm.
And you do any research on Alzheimer's, you'll hear stories about
Totally.
people coming back as though nothing happened for a period of time, whether
Yeah.
it's a few minutes, a few seconds, or
Right.
even a day, and it's just
Yeah.
so like random.
Right.
But yeah, like intentionally making moments. Like I remember when like before my mom and dad moved down, I had the opportunity to really be part of her care. Like I wasn't able to do a lot because I'm working full time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like it was really important to me to be able to do something. And it was it was at the point where she was still able to have a conversation. Like
Yeah.
you could explain things to her, tell her how the kids are doing, things like that. You would end up having that conversation maybe 4 or 5 times.
Right.
But but I was able to go over there like once a week, once every couple of weeks. My dad was basically full-time care and my sisters were helping out a
Right.
lot. And so there would be points where my dad would just need a break. So I would
Mm-hmm.
go over for
Yeah.
an evening, 4 or 5 hours, and spend time with her. And I really wanted to make the most of it, and there was like it, it, there's this one instance where my parents have this rock that has been in my house for you know basically my entire life, but I've just never really noticed.
Yeah.
And I didn't know where it came from. I didn't even think to ask.
It's been on
It was
like on a
just
shelf forever, right?
it was a doorstop
Oh,
for a
right, right, right.
while. But like, so that's just to kind of set up the story of when I was with my mom, taking care of her, asking her about her life, intentionally asking her questions that I'd never asked her before because I knew it was like now or never.
Yeah.
And so we started, she pulled out some albums and we started looking at one from when she was a teenager and she lived in Italy for a few years. And 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 when I was growing up, I always felt like that. Whenever she'd tell stories about that time in her life, it was like I don't know, like legendary. Like my
Yeah.
mom lived in Italy. That's so cool.
Abroad.
Like Rome. She lived in Rome and was basically that the city was basically her playground. Like she'd hop
Yeah.
on buses, she'd wander into museums, like historical sites, and she would just go wherever she wanted because it was the 70s and things were free and crime was low. And
Yeah.
so for a 13, 14-year-old girl, she could just do that with her friends.
Wow.
And so like even like when it would come out, especially like when she was our teacher for
Yeah.
homeschool, and we'd learn about the Renaissance or the Roman Empire, and you know you could tell it wasn't just history for her. Like she had been there,
Yeah.
and so like this particular visit was she like started talking about this rock, right? And I'm like, what rock are you talking about? And I thought it was kind of like a memory thing,
Yeah.
like what's going on, And it's like, no, the rock, the one from Italy. And I'm like, what are you talking? So she goes upstairs and she brings down this crude looking like cube shaped brick. I'm like, what in the world? And this thing, that has been like holding the door open for my whole life is apparently a piece of an ancient Roman road.
The
And
Appian Way, right?
my dad thinks it's the Appian Way, which is one of the most ancient, like,
Totally.
major Roman roads,
Infrastructure
right?
roads,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You know the saying, like, all roads
Lead
lead
to
to
Rome.
Rome. Like,
Yes,
that's the one they're
that's the
talking
one.
about, right?
Right.
It's like goes across Europe or whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know how long it is.
Yeah.
Um, and so they used to call it the Queen of Roads.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it was just like the highway, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she snatched a brick from it as like a souvenir because she was leaving Italy soon, and she wanted something to remember. And yeah, and obviously that's like a huge no-no now, and it
Right.
probably was back then, but you know, they
Well,
didn't have
just for
TSA checking your bags.
yeah, for context, I was a Latin nerd. And
Yeah.
so I think the Appian Way has been like just like it's like 300 BC or something.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
been around forever. And it's like
Yeah.
hundreds of miles.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
huge.
And
And she was just like,
we
"Boink."
have had a piece of it in our house for the last
That's so crazy. You can,
for our whole lives. You know, she's
yeah,
had it since she's like 15.
that's amazing.
And
Thank
so
goodness no one
she
ever
brings
threw it
it
away.
right, right. And my dad knew what it was, so I think he knew it was meaningful and
Yeah.
cool, you know.
Yeah.
Like we have it's like Indiana Jones, like this
Yeah.
belongs in a museum, you know.
Yeah.
But she brought it down that night and it just kind of messed with me because, you know, she's telling the story. And again, probably not for the first time, but it was like the first time I'm actually hearing it, you know, like I'm sure I knew that at one point, but for
Yeah.
whatever reason, I just forgot. But like now, like today, you know, I she can't tell that story anymore, you know,
Right. Right.
and that version of her is like, you know, the person wandering Rome, you know, grabbing a piece of history that's that's gone in a way, you know, and even the homeschool mom version of her, you know, telling me about Rome, that's gone too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a little emotional, but you know,
Of
it's like
course. Yeah.
it's weird because the stone, the rock, right, the
Mm-hmm.
stupid cobblestone, is still like doing its thing. You know, like
It's still around.
it's still solid. It's still exactly what it was. You
Yeah.
know, but my mom isn't,
Yeah.
and and she's the one forgetting the story, which feels kind of backwards to me. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's like the thing that is supposed to fade, right?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
not the person, you know.
Yeah.
And so, but that's just like how it goes. Like we age, we deteriorate, and you know we don't get to hold on to our whole story forever. And these are the things that I think about. You know,
Yeah.
like we just leave pieces of ourselves like lying around. You know, in people's
Mm.
houses and in people's memories and weird little things like that we just suddenly start caring about
Yeah.
in a way that we didn't used to because you know I never cared about the rock before until she
Right.
brought it down,
Yeah.
and since then I think about it often. And I was just at my dad's house,
Yeah.
and he's got it up on he's got it
Shelf.
up on a shelf now. You know, he's
Yeah.
got a place for it. It's like
Yeah.
its own thing, and it just makes me wonder, you know, like if that's what matters in the end, like not how much of the road we remember or even travel, like you're saying, you know, like,
Yeah.
but what part of us remains for others to walk with? Like that's what matters, you know, like what we leave behind and what holds memory and all of that.
Yeah. It reminds me of that Maya Angelou quote. I think it's like, people won't remember what you say, people won't remember what you do, but they'll remember how you make them feel. And
Hmm.
like what that rock is on a shelf for your dad and for you and your family reminds you of like what
Yeah.
you were feeling towards your mom as she was like sharing herself with you. And it also is, of course, like symbolically representative of her whole person. You know, she's like not
Yeah.
just one thing. She wasn't just your mom. She wasn't just your, your
Right.
homeschooling teacher. She had a whole thing. She was a whole complete person.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
maybe it's a rock, maybe it's a picture. Maybe, people
Yeah.
have these things that we attach these really important and big meaning to because we remember how we're feeling toward that person. And
Hmm.
I have to tell you, I have some like really beautiful family heirlooms from a grandmother of mine who I really wasn't close with. I was really close with
Hmm.
one, I was close with another, and those things, they're supposed to be important. I'm supposed to care about them. She gave them to me. Like these are important things to our
Yeah.
family, but I don't feel anything about them. But
And you didn't know her?
that,
Yeah.
this little piece of paper here,
Yeah.
was like in my grandma's stuff,
Yeah.
and I just snagged it, and a piano book of hers. And I'm
Yeah.
like, these, because she taught me how
Yeah.
to play piano. And this was like, did she
Right.
paint it? Did some, like, I don't
Right.
even know what it is, but it
Yeah.
represents how my grand made me feel, which was like
Hmm.
loved and cared for, whatever. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
It makes the things like it makes them more precious,
totally,
and
totally.
it's like the thing that you can hold on to, the thing that I don't know, that does live on,
Yeah.
even if just for you, I'm not
Yeah.
saying it lives on forever, but like, yeah, like, I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's different for everyone, but I do really think that like how we leave bits of ourselves on this earth lives
Hmm.
in other people.
Right.
The only
Yeah.
way it lives on is through that, like the power that you have when you impact someone in that like beautiful way. And
Hmm.
that
Yeah, because it's not
if someone saw
not
that
just
rock on its own, it doesn't
right.
mean anything.
But if someone knew it was from the Appian Way, I mean, that's cool too. But like
Totally.
she's added to that history by attaching herself. Like all of a sudden, Queen of Rhodes means something more to me now.
Totally.
Like she's the queen, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's like, to me, and maybe I'm romanticizing it more than I should, but like to me, it's like it really just makes it so beautiful and meaningful and precious, and that's the kind of thing I hope I to have left behind, and
Yeah.
I don't know that I can necessarily determine that for my loved ones.
No,
They'll find
you don't
meaning
get
in the
to.
things that,
Yeah.
yeah, but like I can live a life that can contribute to that in the best, in the greatest way, and those are the things that I tend to think of when I think I'm getting old, or like, again, thinking about death, or when my time is up.
Well, thank God they'll have this podcast
That
to,
I mean, honestly, yeah. Not everybody has hours of their dad talking
yeah,
candidly.
yeah,
It's like the painting. To me,
yeah,
it's like, yeah, of course you respond to a painting. Those could be
sure.
her brushstrokes that she
Yeah,
put on there. There's like a human connection there,
totally.
and those are if I can contribute in that way, that's what I want to spend my time doing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think we really brought that full circle, huh?
I guess so.
I think we really did. I think that that's a beautiful way to, understand the connection to a thing, of course, but that it's not
Yeah.
about the thing. It's
Yeah.
what, it's what's
Yeah.
behind the thing. Okay, should we do splashdown?
We should do Splashdown. I've been looking forward to this.
I'm going first.
Okay, you go first.
Eric,
Yes.
Friday night,
Hmm.
I saw you in a dream.
Okay.
I don't think that this was you finding me in a dream, but it has to mean something.
Okay.
I was in my dream walking outside. I don't know where I was. It wasn't like a normal surrounding, but I wasn't like uncomfortable with it. I was just walking outside and I looked up. And did you ever watch Mulan? Not Mulan. Sorry. Moana.
Yeah.
Okay. You know when, is it
Maui turns into a
Maui? Yeah,
bird.
when Maui turns into a bird, but it's like still his face.
Uh-huh.
It's like,
Oh,
it's him.
gross.
It was like that, but you were an eagle and
Okay.
you were flying like really, really high.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, but it's like, it just was, I knew that it was you. It wasn't like exactly your face, but it was like same from Moana. Yeah, I just, whatever, knew it was you. And I just looked up and I didn't have to shout or anything. I was just like, Eric, like you're free. And I knew you were like, yeah, just like flying.
Uh-huh.
And that was and I just kept going. Yeah. Like, what do you think it means? I don't know.
And
What
that's
do you
really
think?
kind of sweet.
Yeah.
I think I feel more free than I ever have in my whole life.
Well, that's something.
So maybe you're just witnessing that.
It must be. Did you have any dreams where you were flying?
I had dreams about you.
Okay, but
I
were you
had
flying?
no.
Shoot.
No, I wasn't flying. I was on a plane
Weird.
with trying to communicate with you.
Tell me.
Okay, so
Eric, I had a dream about you flying and you had a dream about you flying. It's just a little different.
yeah, was this Friday night though?
Yes. Oh, that was my dream Friday night.
Yeah, I ruined my timestamp because I corrected spelling. So now it
Oh.
says today.
Oh,
Dang it.
yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so I had 3 separate dreams in one night.
Busy guy.
So I'll go through them in chronological order. The one on the plane is the second one.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one, I'm just going to read you my notes because they're kind of funny. I was half asleep typing them out. So they're like these short lines. So first one starts off with, found incriminating evidence on this one rando. Ended up being the plot of the movie Charades. So had to get the document to the police. Was in the big Marriott building in Atlanta, which is where I'd stayed when I'd gone down there.
Adobe one, yeah.
Met her friend, which her, I believe, means you. Met her friend. She called me Aaron. Not lucid, so I wasn't able to control my dream.
Yeah.
Forgot about word. Forgot about lemon. Hyper focuses on putting this guy behind bars. Elaine wore a trench coat. So that was the first dream. So I think that was like nonsense.
Okay.
That one didn't. Yeah, but you were in it, so
I feel like
I wrote it down, hoping that maybe there were some details, but apparently not.
Yeah.
Second dream, on a plane, said the word to you through a photo in a magazine. Okay.
Okay.
Also through my mom. She had her doubts.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Your mom's like, this is bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was your mom lucid?
My mom was
your mom
my mom was 32. Like I always think of my mom,
Yeah.
the age when I was a kid. That's my mom. That's my mom when I think about her now,
Yeah.
Whenever I have a memory of her, she's 32.
Yeah. Okay.
Teenager in Italy,
Interesting.
she was still 32.
Okay.
But anyway, she had her
Interesting.
doubts, but was gonna give it a try. We were on a school trip as chaperones, me and you.
You
We
and
were
I. Okay.
chaperones on a school trip on this plane. It was somewhat lucid, so that's
Okay.
where I was able to relay the word that I'm not allowed to tell you because
Don't
when
say.
you get it in a dream,
Yeah.
we know we've
Then we've-
telepathically communicated it.
And we'll go viral.
Right. That was the end of the second one.
Okay.
Beginning of the next one, and it kind of led into this from the previous one in that I asked my mom to help. it was like I couldn't say the word to you. I couldn't communicate it to you, but I had like a crew of people that I could ask to do it for me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Who were they
And
besides your mom?
So the only other person that helped was Doug Jr. from Company Retreat.
Just to be like, see, he is cool.
A show that you didn't like
That
and I was
I
so
hated.
disappointed by it.
I
Okay.
really felt like I hurt your feelings with that one.
That's my issue. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
And I'm over
do
it. I'm
worry.
okay.
Hey, Mo.
So Company Retreat's son, I couldn't remember his name at the time,
Yeah.
came storming into the property, yelling the word frantically, looking for you, Elaine, looking for Elaine. So I had asked him to go yell this word out. We approached a summer camp. It was like just a camp. It wasn't one that I recognized. It looked like New England, kind of woodsy and
Yeah.
what you'd expect a campground to look like up here. So Doug Jr. is running through the campground yelling the word. It was a summer camp I sent him. So far,
Do you mean like a summer camp, like where kids go away for the summer, or like a summer camp, like you pull up your RV? Okay.
Yeah, a campground,
Okay.
RV tents. There's
Yeah.
a pool, there's a general store, that sort of thing.
Okay.
So far, he was the strongest messenger, but you weren't there.
Oh.
And then I said, I was like, no, nope, we missed her. She's not here. I'm having trouble saying the word, but can send other people. Yeah, so that's what I was trying to say there. Was like, I couldn't say it in the dream, but I could send others to just throw out into the.
You are a very powerful dreamer, Eric.
Would you say an expert?
Yes. Graham.
Yeah. So does any of that
Wow.
resonate with you? Aside from being in the air on a plane.
No. No, it was of all of the dreams, because I've been setting my intention now at night, and I was so thrilled that I saw you in my dream, and I looked up, you were so far away, and I was just like, that's Eric. But it was not about the word, unless my sincerest hope was that I was going to tell you that I said you were free, and you were like, the word is free. I really,
Yeah, that would
that's
be
what I
cool.
was,
That would
that's
be
what I was
cool.
hoping, but that wasn't it.
Yeah. No, it's
Okay.
not the word.
All right.
It's not the
All
word.
right. You know what? Have you ever seen that celebrity game show from the 60s where they?
The word is.
Yeah. That's what this is reminding me of.
We're playing the
Where
dream.
everyone
version of
else knows. Yeah, the word. That's funny. Not as funny as my Animorphs video, but
That was genuinely funny. That was genuinely. You gotta
I
send
showed-
that one. You gotta
showed
send
it
that
to
one
my
to Graham on
partner.
our chat.
I will. I showed my partner, and she was like, "That wasn't funny," and I was like,
No, it's
yes, it was.
12-year-old humor. It's
so
12 years.
funny.
It's like no,
Well,
it's
and
not
that's
funny,
what
but it's funny.
It's so funny. That's what I like about Sarah Sherman is she's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a 12-year-old boy
Yeah.
humor,
Yeah.
and she does a lot of body horror stuff. But that one, oh my god,
Is she still on, or is she done now?
I think she's still on. She's got her own comedy special right now that
Yeah,
I've been meaning
no,
to
she's
watch.
great.
But yeah, it
TikTok's
was
really funny too.
so funny, and it was so weirdly I haven't thought about Animorphs in so long.
I know.
So just to
It was like you showed it. I'm like, oh my god, this is an Animorph parody. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
so out of pocket. Like, what?
So stupid. Oh, we'll link that for y'all so you can watch the.
All right, we should say goodbye.
Okay, goodbye. I love you.
I love you too.
Don't age too much in between now and next time.
I'll do my best.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.